The air was thick, not with smoke, but with tension. CNN studio gleamed under the floodlights, but no one noticed the polished floor or the cold steel of the cameras. All eyes were fixed on two figures seated center stage, two faces of America's crossroads. On the left sat Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, the storm from the Bronx hair pulled back like a warrior's helm, eyes sharp as truth, draped in a blood-red blazer that made no apologies. She was not just a congresswoman, she was a movement, a generation's fury, and a firepower of facts dressed in lipstick and logic. Across from her, John Kennedy, the senior senator from Louisiana, the old guard in a gray suit, folksy on the outside, calculating on the inside. He smiled that smile, the kind that hides 1,000 filibusters, the kind that says, I've been here longer than your lifetime. But tonight, time would mean nothing, because the country wasn't watching a debate, it was watching a reckoning. Anderson Cooper stepped forward, voice neutral, posture steady, but he knew he wasn't here to mediate, he was here to witness history. Tonight's topic was energy, but the real subject was power. Who had it, who abused it, and who was ready to take it back? Cooper's first question cut to the bone. Congresswoman, your Green New Deal has been called radical, unrealistic, too costly, too fast, too much. How do you respond? AOC didn't blink. She leaned in, not with anger, but with precision. Anderson, the real question is, can we afford not to act? Because while senators count costs, my district counts caskets. While oil execs cash bonuses, my people inhale asthma and drown in floods named after the climate they ignored. She paused, not for drama, but to let the truth breathe. We're not just cutting carbon, we're building futures. We're not killing jobs, we're creating millions. This isn't about theory, it's about survival. Her voice didn't tremble, it surged. A quiet applause rose from parts of the crowd, the younger ones, the ones with student loans and solar panels, the ones who knew she wasn't selling hope, she was issuing a deadline. Cooper turned to Kennedy, Senator. Your response? Kennedy adjusted his glasses, grinned that rehearsed grin, and began the dance. Well, Anderson, I appreciate the Congresswoman's passion, but let's talk real life. Where I come from, energy means jobs. Oil and gas put food on the table, not hashtags. You can't just flip a switch and expect solar panels to build themselves. We need a bridge, not a leap into the unknown. He spoke slowly, deliberately, as if reason wore cowboy boots, and part of the audience nodded, the ones clinging to what they knew, even if it was sinking. But AOC didn't wait long. She struck back, not with heat, but with ice, Senator. That kind of thinking is exactly why we're still stuck. While the planet burns, you speak of bridges, but what you're building is a cliff, and you expect the working class to jump blindfolded. We're not talking handouts, we're talking reinvestment, retraining, reclaiming dignity through clean energy. The crowd stirred, louder now. Kennedy sat still, but his smile shrank. He replied slowly, carefully, as if balancing on a ledge. Congresswoman, I've seen a lot of blueprints in my time. They all look pretty, until the ink runs dry. Try telling a rig worker who's been offshore for 30 years that he's getting a coding boot camp. He doesn't want your app, he wants his life back. That struck. Not with truth, but with nostalgia. And nostalgia is a drug. Easy to sell, hard to survive. AOC's lips tightened, but her voice did not. Senator, this isn't about dreams, it's about deadlines. If we don't move, the world moves. Without us. And it's not just his job on the line, it's his grandkids' air, his wife's water, his home's foundation. She didn't raise her voice. She didn't need to, because facts shouted louder than sentiment. And for the first 15 minutes, America watched. Not a debate, but a duel. Her urgency, his restraint, her clarity, his comfort. She brought the fire of the future. He clung to the ashes of the past, but the tension was about to snap, because policy could only hide pain for so long. And Cooper's next question would peel away the surface and show the cost of standing still. Anderson Cooper didn't flinch. His voice dropped half a tone, but the question struck with full force. Senator, Congresswoman, critics say, these debates ignore the people caught in the crossfire. The single mother who loses her refinery job, the family washed out by a flood. How does your plan speak to them? Silence followed, but it didn't last. AOC took it first, and she didn't hesitate. That's exactly who I fight for, she said. Her voice sharpened, her words now a blade, because climate doesn't hit Wall Street. It hits the Bronx, it hits Shreveport, it hits the front porches of families that never got bailed out. My plan prioritizes those communities, not just with slogans, but with dollars. Real investments in solar, wind, and jobs where they're needed most. Not where lobbyists say they should go. This isn't a tech utopia, this is justice, and it's long overdue. The crowd roared, not just applause, but release, because in those words they saw not policy, but possibility. But Kennedy tilted his head, slowly, as if he'd seen this movie before. Justice is a fine word, he said, but it don't pay rent. It don't fill a lunchbox. It don't warm a house when the furnace breaks. You want to talk about the Bronx? Fine, but let's not forget that single mom in Shreveport who can't afford to wait for your grand plan to kick in. What she needs isn't a promise, it's a paycheck, the crowd murmured. The tension-turning AOC leaned forward, now cold.